Hello, welcome to this video. I'm Victoria here from Fierce Batty, and what we're talking about is the fact that you can love your body and be healthy without losing weight. Let me just get my charger to plug in, but in the meantime, have a look at my nice crop top. Oh yes, only loving good times. Okay, so what we are talking about in this video is why diets lie to us and trick us into thinking that weight loss will give us confidence and health. How diets actually give us the opposite thing that we're looking for. And avoid this outrageous trick diet culture is using to hurt you. And finally, how to actually get what you want, whether that be confidence, health, mobility, without shrinking your gorgeous body. Okay, so that is what we are talking about. I'm just going to make sure that everything's set up correctly for me to stream to you. Oh, sorry, just kicked my dog. All right, so let's get into it. Now, I see a massive mistake people making again and again and again and again. And I wanted to point it out so that you can avoid it, because it's actually super harmful and really counterproductive. So we've established, society has established, and in case you didn't, get the news yet, that diets don't work. It was actually established in the 60s, maybe like 59. The big stat that everyone uses, 95% of diets fail. That came from the 60s. A study that was done in the 60s. So we've known since then. But since then, numerous studies have been published showing, even worse stats. So 95 is like the most generous. Even worse stats that show that dieting is not effective in reducing your body size long term. Now, of course, everyone can go on a diet and lose weight temporarily, and that's the thing, is it's temporary, because people get excited because you go on a diet, you start losing weight, and you're like, oh my god, this is amazing, I'm going to be so thin in like a couple of weeks or whatever. But it's temporary. So here's the mistake that I see, is that people say, I believe that you should love your body and that it's okay to be fat, but I am losing weight and dieting for health reasons. And this makes no sense. This makes no sense. And in case you're thinking, what? Why does that make no sense? I'm going to explain it to you. Dieting hurts your physical and mental health. Dieting makes you have a higher weight in the long term. Most people who go on diets, after they've gone on the diet, then they've stopped the diet, or they even haven't stopped the diet and they still can't lose weight because their body is doing numerous things, 50 different things, to keep you at a weight that your body is happy with. So most people either put the weight back on or end up weighing more. In fact, it's more likely that if you go on a diet, you're going to weigh more. That's why chronic yo-yo dieters, so people who diet and then stop, diet and then stop, their weight goes up, 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 up every time their body raises their weight, because their body is like, well, fucking hell, we're in a famine. I need to raise that set point weight that I'm happy with, because if shit hits the fan again, then we're more protected. Now, it's absolutely okay to have a higher weight, But if you are dieting to make your weight smaller or lower, then you're shit out of luck. So 2 out of 3 people who go on a diet leave with that continued disordered eating patterns. Okay? So 2 out of 3 people leave a diet with disordered eating patterns, and a diet teaches you how to be a disordered eater. And 1 out of 3 dieters go on to develop a full-blown eating disorder. So, you know, you're pretty much going to learn either how to be an even better disordered eater, or you're going to develop into having a full-blown eating disorder. Dieting is bad for our physical health. So imagine the toll that your body is under when it's in a famine. Now, our bodies can't tell the difference from you thinking, or anyone thinking, oh, I'm just going to reduce my whatever to lose weight. Your body is like, I'm not getting enough food. Like, what is going on? I don't like this. And I'm going to work and shut off systems and increase systems and increase different things and decrease different things to keep this body safe, to keep us alive, to keep us functioning in the best way possible. And what harm does that do to you short term and long term? It's been linked, dieting has been linked to increased risk of type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease. Dieters have elevated cortisol levels. Cortisol is the stress hormone, and we all know the devastating impacts of stress on our physical and mental health. People who diet are more likely to engage in self-harming behaviors, self-harm. So do you think that temporarily shrinking your body will increase your self-esteem? Or do you think that when you put the weight back on, because your body is fighting for that to happen, then you'll feel even worse than you did before? That you'll feel like a failure. Oh, that feeling of being on a diet and feeling so self-righteous. That was me. I felt self-righteous. I was like, oh, look at all these greedy, lazy people who can't lose weight, not like me. And then when I did put on weight, I was just like mortified and so ashamed of myself that I was so, undisciplined, which is not what was happening. My body was like, fucking eat. Jesus, stop with this nonsense. It's ridiculous. So you might temporarily be like, oh my God, I feel amazing. Look at me fitting into these clothes. And, my phone is constantly ringing with all the people who want dates with me now that I am a dress size smaller or whatever it is. Yeah, that probably feels good. But that's temporary. It's temporary. And then you'll probably be at a higher weight. And again, it's okay that if you're at a higher weight, but if you weren't happy with your size before, what are you going to then think about your size after you've come off the diet, because you can't continue it because you're a human being, and then you have a higher weight than what you started with? That's just going to even add to the lower confidence, right? And dieting lowers your self-esteem. Dieting teaches you to be disconnected with your body, not trust it, feel like it's conspiring against you, feel like that there's something wrong with you. And there's nothing wrong with you. But the thing is, that's not what diet companies tell us. They tell us that by going on the diet, you're going to become happier, more confident, you're going to love your body, you're certainly going to be able to do all these things that you couldn't do before because you're going to feel so confident. And especially it's reinforced when you see these before and after pictures, and you see the before picture of that person who was so sad, so fat, so horrible, such a bad parent because they were fat, so unattractive, wearing probably like raggy old clothes just to increase the effect of, oh yeah, they're so horrible. And then you see the after picture of them beaming with their smaller body and presuming all of the wonderful things that's happened to them now that they have a smaller body. And sometimes, like, if you were like me, reading magazines with these stories in and being like, oh my God, it's so amazing that they are now able to be a good parent, because they can run around with their kids and feed their kids healthy foods, and they can keep their partner happy, and they can do, they're so happy at work, and they're, oh my God, and they look so good, and oh, this is who they were meant to be all along, and look how bad they used to look. The thing is, so when I see before and after pictures, not that I go seeking them out, but sometimes they'll pop up on Instagram search, and I'll be like, get rid of that shit immediately. What I see is somewhat like, it's, I feel like I'm Mystic Meg. If you're British, you know who Mystic Meg is. She's like a fortune teller that would go on Saturday night TV just before the lottery numbers were announced and be like, if you've got number 2, you're feeling lucky. If you have hair, you might win. So I feel like Mystic Meg when I see these after pictures, because then I can see the after in my mind. I know what is going to happen, because statistics tell me what is going to happen is that they are going to be bigger than the before picture, that they are going to be the same weight as the before picture, because they cannot maintain that smaller body size. And so I see someone who is temporarily happy, probably fucking starving and desperate need of food, but you know, pushing all those feelings down, because those feelings, you know, they're not positive. Pushing that down, that they haven't eaten food in a while, because their life is amazing now, and I always see it as temporary, and I always just have such empathy for them, because I know in 6 months, 12 months, 2 years down the line, they're going to be looking back at this time that they were temporarily thin and feel so deeply ashamed of what their body looks like now and what they had for a fleeting moment. And they shouldn't feel ashamed. No one should feel ashamed for putting on weight after a diet, or even if you're still on a diet, because our bodies are magnificent and are doing wonderful things to keep our body weight at a place that it's happy with. Our set point range, our set point range is a kind of a 10-20 pound range that our body likes to be in, and when it falls out of this range, then it's like, no, let's get back to where we like to be. Yeah, so I feel like I can see the future, and it's just temporary. And so those good feelings of confidence, of happiness, feeling proud of your body, is most likely going to be temporary. It's just a snapshot in time. So you might say, okay, yes, I understand that. I understand that I'm not trying to become smaller to become more confident, or to lose weight, or to increase my self-esteem. I'm losing weight because I want to be able to move more, or I have a health condition that means I need to lose weight. So a lot of people are like that. I'm not doing it for, to become thin, and I'm doing it because I'm unhealthy, and because I want to be more mobile, because I can't get up off the floor without, huffing or something, huffing and puffing, or whatever it is that people want to improve. And so they will say, okay, that is why I'm going on a diet. So I'm going on a diet for a good reason, not for a bad reason. A bad reason is because I want to look better, but I'm doing it for a good reason, because I'm doing it for my health. Okay, that's fine. But it still stands that no diet is going to get you to a smaller weight. Diets don't work. And so if you're going on a diet to be healthier, and then having a smaller body size to you means that you're healthier, well, it's going to be temporary. It's not going to work. Diets don't work. Even if your intention is, I want to get healthy, I want a smaller body because smaller bodies are healthy, or I want a smaller body because smaller bodies can do more physical activities. Whatever it is that you've told yourself, which is not based in reality, or whatever it is that society has told us, because we didn't come up with these ideas. Society has told us this. It doesn't matter. Your body doesn't know, oh, they're doing it because they want to be able to run around the garden with their kids. Okay, well, this time I'll make sure that the weight stays off, because They're doing it for good reasons, not to look beautiful, but to be a better person. Your body doesn't know. It's going to stay the weight that it wants to be, no matter how little you eat or how much you run or whatever. So what you can, so something, disclaimer. Now, people who go on diets, sometimes, not always, because you know a lot of diets are really fucking fucked up, you know, like put turmeric up your bum or whatever. But some diets will say, hey, why don't you increase the variety of food in your life, and why don't you move your body more for the intention of losing weight? Now, these behaviors could be health promoting. Now, if they're not done in a disordered way, of course. So those health promoting behaviors could help you improve any health condition that you have, could help you improve your mobility, your stamina, your strength. Now, studies have shown that if you engage in new activities or behaviors and you tie it to weight loss, okay, so you're engaging it in the purpose to lose weight, then it is not as sustainable as if you're doing it just because you want to increase your stamina, your strength, your mobility. You want to get more of a variety of foods into your life. If you tie a weight loss outcome with that, what happens is you engage in this new behavior. You might like it, you might not like it. And then you look at the scale. First off, you start losing weight. You're like, oh my God, this is great. This is working. I'm becoming healthier. I'm becoming smaller. I'm becoming more mobile. After a while, that scale stays the same, but you're still engaging in those behaviors. And then after a while, maybe the scale goes up or stays the same. And you just think, well, fuck it, I'm doing all this work and nothing is changing, so why should I continue? Whereas if you just engage in these health promoting behaviors outside of a weight loss goal, and you just don't look at how much you weigh, you don't look at what's happening with your weight, and you just try to increase your mobility, your stamina, your strength, have a variety of food in your life, decrease your stress, and that stuff makes you feel good, and you've not lost weight, or you might have lost weight, or you might have put on weight, you don't know because you're not looking at the weight outcome, that is way more sustainable. It's way more sustainable, studies show. So take weight out of it. If you want to be healthy, great, amazing. If you're not interested, great, amazing. You know, you're morally equivalent, right? If you do want to increase your stamina or strength or speed or whatever it is, you can do it outside of going on a diet, which is fucking useless and harmful, harms your mental and physical health, and doesn't work, and makes you bigger. Not that being bigger is bad. So, you know, and all this is not your fault. It's not your fault that you can't maintain being on a diet, because it's maintaining something which is not maintainable. You know, I said it before, it's like holding your breath. No matter how much willpower you have, eventually your body takes over and says, okay, they've been at the wheel this time, and they've really fucked it up now. You know, now I'm taking over. They've decided to stop breathing again. Okay, fine. I'm gonna force them to breathe. And it's the same with your body when you're reducing your food intake or exercising too much and to the extreme. Your body's like, okay, now listen up here, bitch. I'm taking over. I'm taking over because you've not been doing it right. So I'm gonna take these measures to look after us because you've been holding your breath for far too long. Now, there is a new outrageous deception that diet companies are now trying to sell, and it makes me so enraged. I just came across this. I was in a business meeting a couple of days ago, and the business meeting with other like solopreneurs like me, entrepreneurs like me. And people were saying what their businesses was. And this one person said, I've got a feminist company that teaches health and wellness. And my ears pricked up. Feminist? Oh, cool. Health and wellness? Question mark. And then I was like, well, it's cool, it's feminist. Like, health and wellness is always like a dodgy subject. But then I went to her website and I looked at her course. It's not fucking health and wellness, it's dieting. But obviously health, and this is like, you know, we're packaging up it as dieting, but you know, this is common, like packaging diets as health and wellness is the new way diets have been doing it in the last couple of years. But this new adding the feminist onto it, I was so pissed off. I'm still so pissed off. Another thing people are doing are saying it's body positive weight loss. It's a body positive diet. It is a diet with social justice intertwined into it. And that is not possible. Dieting is not feminist. It is not body positive. It has nothing to do with progressing social justice movements. In fact, the opposite. And so when someone is appealing to smart people who are feminists, who think people should love their body, who think that it's okay to have a different variety of bodies, but they need to lose weight, then they would be lulled in. It's easy to be lulled into someone who says feminist health and wellness versus someone's like, yo, put some celery up your bum and you'll lose 5,000 calories in 2 minutes. Like, you'd be like, that's silly. I'm not going to do the celery up my bum. But feminist health and wellness, they're feminist. It must be good. It's health and wellness. It must be healthy and will keep me well. It reminds me of this quote, one of my favorite quotes ever. I say it all the time. Naomi Wolf's quote. Naomi Wolf wrote the Beauty Myth in the 1990s. This quote: "A culture fixated on female thinness is not an obsession about female beauty, but an obsession about female obedience. Dieting is the most potent political sedative in women's history. A quietly mad population is a tractable one." And now Naomi uses binary language there for gender, but this stuff affects every gender. It affects gender non-conforming people, trans people, men, women. All gender expressions are hurt by this. And what it is keeping us distracted from the important things in the world so that we cannot work on overthrowing patriarchy, overthrowing all of these oppressive systems. I did a whole episode on why body positivity is not, you can't actively try to be losing weight on a diet and also declare that you are a body positive person, because they're two separate things. Just an FYI, in a nutshell, body positivity is a political movement that's started by Black women, trans folks in the 1960s, fat people. I don't know if I mentioned fat. In the 1960s, to progress social justice for fat people, for marginalized identities. Okay, and so if you are dieting, then you are trying to erase that fat identity, and also you're saying that you believe that diets work, that diets are going to make you healthy, that diets are going to make you happy, that that you believe in all of these oppressive systems and lies that old rich white men have told us. Okay, so that is what making me really mad. So if you see any like feminist health and wellness, really, really take it with a massive pinch of salt, because it's probably fucking bullshit. So you want to be fitter, healthier, more confident, then engage in behaviors that will actually get you there. Not a diet, not a lifestyle change. They won't work. So something to note as well, I mentioned it before, is, if people go on a diet, they might increase their activity or change their the way they eat. How would someone who is straight-sized deal with the issue that you are trying to fix? You know, if you have lower confidence, if you have this health condition or whatever, how would a straight-sized person do it? So if a straight-sized person came to you and said, hey, I'm getting out of breath when I'm running around with my kids. They were straight-sized, they were thin. You wouldn't say, okay, lose weight. What would you say? You know, you might say, hey, why don't you increase your cardio or something? You know, if a straight-sized person came and said, I need to get more of this type of food into my diet, would you say, okay, great, lose weight? No, you'd say, why don't you try and get some of this into your diet? And of course, you're not a doctor, I'm not a doctor, you might be a doctor, but you know, thinking about for yourself, what would a straight-sized person get or do, or what would they do to get this outcome that they want? Maybe you should do the same, question mark. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you what to do. It's your life. You do what you want. So trying to manipulate your body size is harmful. Any benefits that it gives you are likely temporary. And everything that diets promise us are straight up lies. If you learn self-compassion, then you can actually foster body confidence. If you learn self-compassion, you can be more able to look after your health. You're able to more able to choose foods that make you feel great, make you feel joyous, minus the disordered thoughts or disordered eating or full-blown eating disorder. If you learn self-compassion, you'll be able to do all of those things that dieting has lied to you about, saying that if you do this diet and you become thin, money's going to rain down from the sky. You know, everyone's going to want to date you. You're going to be the hottest thing since sliced bread, etc., etc. You can get all of that from self-compassion. So that is the route to go. Now, if you enjoyed hanging out with me today, make sure that you go to and join my free Facebook group. It's called Fierce Fatty Friends. There are 3 questions that you need to answer to get into it, to make sure that you're a real human being and not some creepy pervert or something. You probably are a creepy pervert, but we want to make sure you're a real human being and a creepy pervert. Or not. So answer those questions. If you don't answer those questions, then we won't be able to let you into the group. And we have more conversations like this in the group. So come on hanging out with me there. And thanks for hanging out with me today. It's been a slice. Have an incredible rest of your day. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye. Stay fit.